Well, good evening and welcome to It Is Time for the Main Street Sports Standout Show as we end up crossing over from the fast break. And Ray Halbrook here from Livestream STL. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. We have a great show in store here as we I'm in a little different spot here. I'm at the kiddie table here. So the big table over here is the big guys here. All of the here's Drake.
Are we sure this isn't the kiddie table?
That could be the kiddie table too. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, the kiddie table here. Me going on here. But got a good group here tonight. Here we've got Jeff Whitener there, all the way to the left. We've got Drake Beekman there next to him. We've got Scott Lotta next to him, and Brian Kaplinger. We are going to go through this amazing amount of group of lists and whatnot. And our lists are a little bit different than most lists, so we don't want to shoot the messenger here too much. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jeff Whitener is behind all this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, but no, should be a fun one here. And, without further ado, I'm going to bring this right straight over to Jeff. And Jeff, are you going to get this thing started?
Thank you, Ray. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about how our Main Street Sports Standout list and our selection comes to be. And let's get this boilerplate right out of the way so we can get right into the nominees. Our standouts are nominated and voted by members of local media in Jefferson County. Collectively, we saw over 75 games this winter. Now, no all-star list is perfect, and this one will be debated like every other one. This list is based solely on our opinions from watching the athletes play, as well as season statistics. This list includes JCAA large and small schools only. It would be unfair to add any suburban conference players as we seldom saw them play. We choose 8 teams, a first and second boys and girls JCAA large schools, and a first and second team boys and girls JCAA small schools. We choose one MVP from all 4 categories. We choose players on this list regardless of position or grade level. You could have 5 guards on one team, and they could all be freshmen. You never know. We make a point of not naming any co-MVPs. We fight it out until we come up with a single MVP in each category. Each voter submits their personal picks, ballots are tallied, reviewed, and unanimous choices automatically make the team. Then we then go by majority vote for the rest of the players. We know that some good athletes did not make this list. It's not our intent to slight anyone or upset any local schools. This is simply our way to recognize who we thought were the best performers throughout the season and have some fun. And finally, this list of players is biased, as we all have biases, as most postseason accolades are. There you have it, Ray. That's all the mouthful out of the way.
Hey, it's really interesting that do we have bias? Yes, we have bias. Why not? Why wouldn't we have bias? And it's good to have the bias. For years and years and years, we used to always just kind of take the best of the best, and anytime we had any problems, Ray would be the end all be all. But this year, this particular year, it has not been the case. So, and I feel like all the burden's off me now. So that's a good thing. So it's time to talk about large school conference standouts. We start right now with the large school girls first team standouts, and this is the first group here, first team. Our first candidate is Olivia Madden, the junior of the Festus Tigers.
Sensing a theme this year, guys, if you notice, and we'll talk about at the end, a very, very strong junior clash here, including Olivia Madden, first team all-conference, 6th in the metro area in assists with over 5 a game. Among the metro area leaders in free throw percentage, she obviously led the Tigers in assists, but she also led the Tigers in rebounds. Second on the team in scoring, helped the Tigers to a co-conference championship, and this is Olivia's second selection to the Main Street Sports Standouts team.
What can you say about her, except I was kind of shocked that she was a junior. I mean, watching her play this year, she kind of had that air that she's done this for a long time. And I would have swore that she was a senior. Her demeanor on the court, her, just her presence and her calmness was such, it was a joy to watch. I mean, she really was a huge cog in what the Tigers were able to accomplish this year. And, she was just, obviously she was, one of the focal points, but man, this senior year coming up next year, wow, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see her for the first time last year because it was my first year here at Live Stream. But she really caught my eye in the way that she handles the basketball, the way that she directs and controls. I think her defensive presence for the Festus Tigers is undersold to a degree because she can shut down just about anybody on the floor. And she has a fight within her to get better. If you follow her on social, I'm not saying you should, but I mean, you can by all means. You see the work that she puts in. I mean, in between seasons, going to camps and different things like that, she really, really is putting in great work, and it's showing on the court. I mean, she is a team leader. Again, you see her on the sidelines even before games, JV games, things like that. She is cheering her other teammates on, and she is just, a go-getter. So I expect great things for this young lady for one more year.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add, but one thing that I don't know if it was on, I don't think it was on your slide at all, Jeff, but she's got 2.5 steals per game is what she's averaging too. So like you said, Brian, just an absolute dog on both sides of the ball and can do it all, again, if you need to.
She's an outstanding guard. She can really play the 1 or 2 position, but she plays down low too. She's kind of this hybrid player. She could be a wing or swing player nowadays, whatever they want to call it. When you lead your team in assists, rebounds, and free throw percentage, you're literally all over the court and very hard to defend. And another player look good in red and navy, maybe in a couple of years there, Olivia, if you're watching this. And plus, just as an aside, I just get a kick out of her personality. Big personality, leader on the team, and I love watching her play.
Absolutely. Our next first teamer is Lillian Kennedy, the sophomore from the Festus Tigers.
Lillian Kennedy makes the list as a sophomore, first team all-conference. She was among the metro area leaders in steals. She was the co-scoring leader on the Tigers with 13 a game, second on the Tigers in shooting percentage, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage, all as a sophomore. She helped lead the Tigers to a co-conference championship, and this is her first selection to the Main Street Sports Standouts team.
The first time I got to see her play, all I'm saying is wow. I saw her in warm-ups, and just kind of out of the corner of my eye. But then once the game started, and she has got such a pure shot. I mean, and it was just, she's a sophomore, and I mean, she's just out there 3-pointers, oh hum. She'd be like, from the free throw line, oh hum. It's like she was just unfazed by everything. She just looked like she's been doing this forever, and it was just. She was so impressive. And then, not only that, but, she's hustling. She's getting back in the play. But, wow, what a weapon for Coach Portell going down the line.
Yeah, to me, her shot, I don't want to put her overall game because I don't want to put this pressure on the young lady, but it's Caitlin Clark-esque. It just looks easy, like you said.
It's really good.
It's a clean shot. She gets it off quick. She's very, very accurate. I stopped going to games that she was in because it seemed like every game I was at, she would get hurt. So just for her benefit, I stopped showing up. I think the first one, she took a shot to the nose. She was going to be our player of the game, and she was trying to fix that up to come and be a part of the post-game show. And then the next one, she kind of rolled her ankle pretty good and ended up missing. So I just said, for Kennedy's benefit, I'm going to step away from calling some of her games.
So that's why I got all their games.
That's
okay.
Right. That's right.
It's quite the sacrifice there, Cap. We appreciate that. I'm sure Lillian will appreciate that as well. She's such a pleasant surprise for me, and she gave the Tigers so much. Plus the fact that she's a sophomore, so you get that youthful boost of energy and enthusiasm, which is always helpful on a team, team chemistry. And just like you said, just an absolutely pure shot.
You said it was the class of juniors, but the sophomore putting in some great numbers too. So again, very excited to see how Festus does next season with those two. Going to be very fun to watch.
We switch over to the juniors here, and Eliza Skaggs from the Festus Tigers is another first-teamer.
Well, I tell you, Festus has got a trio of first-teamers here. Eliza Skaggs, the junior, second-team all-conference. She was among the metro area leaders and Jefferson County leader of all the county in three-point shooting per game, among the metro area leaders in steals, co-leader with Lillian for scoring on the Tigers. She led the Tigers in three-point shooting and steals, helped lead the Tigers to a co-conference championship, and this is Eliza's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout Team.
Jeff, I'm going to steal from one of our other things. You talked about someone who was kind of mean on the court, and I don't know if she really was mean, but she had, I mean, the games I saw, she had a game face on. I mean, like, she was serious, and like she was in the moment, whether she was on defense, whether she was, trying to come off a screen and get her shot. But I mean, she just looked like, I don't want to mess with her, because she just had that competitive, that focus, that razor focus. And I mean, if she got a clean shot, I mean, more than likely, you could put it on the board. That's a 3-pointer, to our sponsor. But it was just, she had such a great shot whenever, she was open and she was in rhythm. And, man, she was fun to watch.
Yeah, and just to clear things up, she is a tremendous young lady, very nice. But on the court, the competitor in her is out there. I mean, you talk about a death stare.
Yep.
Like, she would get defenders to back off just by that game face that she would have on her. And to all those points, I mean, stats are stats for a reason. They speak to the truth of a player. And this young lady is just a grinder. She is gritty. She is on the floor. She is pulling the three-point shot. She's backing up a teammate. It doesn't matter. She's willing to put in the work, and it's impressive to watch.
You use the word intimidator. I'd like to use the word add to that pest too. Maybe she was an intimidating pest, but she was tough to deal with. And that's probably the best thing I can add to it.
The only thing I really have to add is because she played 2 more games than Kennedy did, they both technically have 13.1 points per game, but she did score 25 more points than Kennedy. So going back to the competitiveness and the stats and all that, we want to make sure that she gets the plaudits there.
There you go.
Drake's our bean counter.
Someone's got to do it.
There you go. Well, it's time to take a look at the junior from Hillsboro, Ashley Hilton.
Never heard of her.
Right.
Ashley Hilton, junior, first team all-conference, conference player of the year, among the metro area leaders, and the Jefferson County leader in points per game. Among the metro area leaders in steals and in rebounds. She led the Hawks in scoring rebounds and block shots. She helped lead the Hawks to a co-conference championship. This is her 3rd consecutive selection to the Main Street Sports Standout Team, and Ashley Hilton was a unanimous selection to said team.
But just in case we're wondering, Ashley is actually pictured on the left.
Yes.
I would hope everyone would know that.
Right?
But anyway, one of the pillars of Hiltonsboro, as I coined last year, this young lady, I mean, she is just all about her team. I mean, obviously, she is a very gifted, very talented player, very smart. But I mean, she is all about deflecting. About this teammate did this. This steal helped us. She's like, yeah, I did my work, I did my stuff, but I want to talk about them. And I think first and foremost, that is a huge quality in a leader. And for Coach Hubbard and all of Hiltonsboro, it is just a pleasure to get to call her games.
Yeah, you said it best. I mean, the sweet lefty, right? That, I mean, just is a tremendous finisher in the paint. She can take you off the dribble if need be. Does a lot of work, even as what I would say as the superstar on the team. She does a lot of work to really just kind of drive Hillsboro forward. And her with a couple other players, it's going to be fun to watch again for another year.
Right, and even though you're the superstar scorer, you still have to get open, and they still have to be able to find you. Ashley's got the Hilton IQ, just like her big sister, of being able, whatever the sport it is. And one thing I noticed about her, she was able to whip out that mid-range jumper that Ray and I really love so much, the underappreciated
mid-range.
Mid-ranger. That's right. Always gets open. And I always tease her, I say, not bad for a softball player, because she's another one that would look good in red and navy, but on the softball diamond.
If I could for a second here, Scott, I'm going to count my beans a little bit here. Ashley Hilton had 509 points this season. The only person with more that's on first, second team, boys, girls, is Nolan Eisenbeis, who we talked about in the small school boys earlier. The only person across everyone that had more points than her this year. So she knows how to find the bucket, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Our next first teamer, Kyra Matlock, the junior from Hillsboro.
Kyra Matlock, the junior, first team all-conference, metro area and Jefferson County leader in assists with 5.2 per game. Metro area leader in steals. Led the Hawks in three-point scoring. Led the Hawks in assists and steals. She was second on the team in overall scoring. Helped lead the Hawks to that co-conference championship. And this is Kyra's also her third selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
I've had many conversations with her dad because obviously through softball connections, I know Kyra's dad. But I mean, I think the biggest thing that I think she needs to add for her senior season would just be a little more confidence. You talked about, certain players are pests. She is the queen of pests. I mean, she on the court, their best player, their scorer, I mean, they have to have eyes in the back of their head where Kara is concerned, because she is everywhere, and defensively, she is probably most nights the best player on the court. And I think if she could just kind of take a little bit of that confidence onto the offensive side, wow. I mean, just wow.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. I mean, to me, it's lockdown. She is a tremendous lockdown defender. And again, if she could switch that mentality that she has on defense just a little bit to the offense, because I don't want to underrate her on offense. She does a great job there, but she knows her strength is on the defense. But to your point, Scott, just take some of that confidence, some of that strut, if you will, and put it on the offensive side, because when she's on, her shot is as good as anybody in this conference. And so take an opportunity to work on a little bit more of that shooting this year, and she may become that leader of the team next year.
Well, and to that end, too, she knows as far as her role on this team, she's sort of the John Stockton to Hilton's Karl Malone.
Right.
And a great facilitator. So many of those 509 points that Ashley Hilton scored were off of the dish and drive for Kyra Matlock. Lockdown defender, excellent court vision. I'm going to go out on a limb because I said in my notes, no female player, regardless of conference and class, can pass the ball with accuracy and velocity like Kyra can. But I'm going to say that man or woman in the county. She makes passes that remind me of one of our former players of the year, right, MVP, Gabe Watkins. She is on a certain level with her passing, and sometimes her teammates aren't up to speed and aren't ready to accept that type of pass. So she's already kind of in that next step above. And another player with a bubbly personality that's just fun to talk to.
Right.
We've talked about before, especially without Ashley just a second ago and others, whenever you lead your team in scoring, you put up so many points tonight, you got to find ways to get open. Well, shoot, whenever you have Matlock there to just with the eyes in the back of her head and just be able to throw the ball wherever she wants to, whenever she wants to, it just makes it so much easier. So for both of them to be juniors going into their final year, again, Hillsboro is going to be mean next year.
Excellent. That wraps up our first team. We go to the second team here for the girls' large school standouts, and we start with Alyssa Rock, the senior from DeSoto.
Well, we had some Festus Tigers and some Hillsboro Hawks on the first team. Now we're going to have some Dragons here to talk about. And that first Dragon is senior Alyssa Rock. She was second team all-conference. She was among the metro area leaders in three-point shooting. She led the Dragons in scoring and led the Dragons in shooting percentage. And this is Alyssa's second selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
You look at DeSoto and you look at who they had to compete with in their conference, and it's like, man, like there was no easy games at all. And I think what the Rock was cooking, you knew I was going to go there.
Nice.
But I mean, obviously, she was kind of the look to give them some offense. But I mean, some of the things aren't seen as like, she made some great passes interior wise, and then also on defense. I mean, she was always right up there. She was like Velcro on a player. But I mean, her effort was there, and you could always tell. It's like, okay, just by the effort on the court, it's like, there's rock.
Right, and kind of knock my
down goes
tablet
laptop.
over. That's right. Well, I was getting ready to say, kind of like yours, like that name Rock. That's what she was for this team, especially on the offensive side. And so just being able to be that stability for the rest of the team to stand on. They knew they could trust her. They knew that she was going to hit that big shot if needed. And again, it was just a very difficult conference to be in and have to fight through, but very impressive what she was able to do in her senior year.
Yeah, although the overall record wasn't as good as a Hillsborough or a Festus, these DeSoto Dragon girls, they were gamers. They don't sell them short. They were very good. And you said Alyssa Rock was indeed the rock of that lineup.
Yeah, being the senior, being able to pass down any and all experience to some of the juniors and underclassmen moving forward, the imprint and the mark that she's going to leave on that team is going to last for years to come.
Excellent. Moving on to another second teamer here, Mackenzie Missy, the junior from DeSoto.
Mackenzie Missy, second team all-conference. She led the Dragons in assists and led them in steals as well. This is her first selection to the team, and you don't see I guess a traditional one guard would lead in assists and steals, guys.
I want to see where does she get that tiara from. I mean, I think all of our standouts need to come on with a tiara. But
is it hard to play with that on?
I would think so. It's definitely going to be some sort of foul thing, move. But obviously, she's kind of ascending a little bit here, and with the void that's going to be next year with Rock graduating. I think she's got a lot of potential. She's, obviously she's got some offensive upside, but on the defensive side, she really worked hard. I never saw her, take any plays off, and a lot of times I saw her kind of throwing her body around, which was kind of like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, comic book reference here, like Batman and Robin. Like, she was definitely Robin this year, but I think very quickly ascending into that leadership role to be able to take on what is to come in the future with a couple of the Dragons headed out that were staples there for them. And so if she can continue to be that presence, gain a little bit more, not that it was bad, she had great court awareness, but just build on that a little bit. Again, this is someone that I think will gladly take the reins and lead this team and hopes to be right back in the middle of the conference fighting.
Yeah, I saw her as a crafty playmaker, and with a very high motor. To back up what Scott said, at times she played with reckless abandon, and sometimes that led her to be out of control a little bit, which you see sometimes in players. But her speed and creativity on the court are really what stood out to me.
Yeah, looking at numbers, you see the all-aroundness to her game going into her senior year. Like you said, Brian, probably going to be in that leadership role. It's going to be a tall task, but very excited to see how she handles it going into her senior and final year.
Absolutely. We wrap up another second teamer here with, Ava Snudden, the senior from DeSoto.
Ava Studden, all-conference honorable mention. She led the Dragons in rebounds with 6.1 per game. She led the Dragons in block shots. She was second on the Dragons in assists, and this is Ava's second selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
So think about some of the matchups on a nightly basis that Ava had to deal with. Hilton, Madden. Just go down the list, and for her to be, that much of a presence, obviously disruptive down in the blocks, that's not an easy job, especially, in this conference. So, I mean, you really got to tip your cap to her for the season that she had. Obviously, she didn't have as many options, as some of the other schools, but just tip of the cap, she had a great season.
Yeah, fierce young lady. You can see that by the picture right there. Just that point and stare down at the camera. I was a little intimidated backing up at the desk. But again, you have to have that personality and that mindset on the court to go against some of the players she was going against and still put up the numbers that she did and really control the area on the basketball court that she did, because she wasn't backing down. And that just sets her up well for the future, because keep that personality. She's a great young lady, but even more than that, tremendous athlete and a tremendous competitor.
And Brian, and I agree with you that she comes from, by the way, a family of very good athletes, brothers and such, and it's second generation Snuddens there in DeSoto. When I look at her, the first thing that jumps out to me is that she's got the great hands that all the Snuddens have. Pardon me. She was a force in the paint, but her consistency, night in and night out, were really what stuck out to me, guys.
You said it once or twice there by accident, but I like the nickname Studden.
Studden.
Yeah,
that.
like you guys said, being able to perform while going up against some of these other ladies that we talked about, and going toe to toe with them and putting up numbers. Fantastic season by the young lady.
Absolutely. Moving on here, we have another second teamer here, Abigail Amberger, the sophomore from Perryville.
Another super sophomore, first team all-conference, metro area leader in scoring with 19.8 per game. A leader in free throw percentage with 72%. She led the Pirates in scoring, assists, and steals. And she's a 5'11" power forward with great shooting touch and is aggressive off the dribble. Those are just my notes included into this here, guys. This is Abigail's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team, and I don't know if any of you guys had the opportunity to see her play like I did. Scott?
Yeah, I got to see her play, and it's actually kind of funny you said that, because the game that I got to see her play, we for some reason, like at halftime or something, I was like sending you a message or something, and you were like, because I mentioned her, and I'm like, you're like, she's on my all whatever this show's going to be. It's like, she's going to be my first team, or she's like she's on my list. But getting to see her in person, she is an athlete, and I mean, she's got a great court presence. She goes out there, she works hard, she gets her teammates involved, and she's got a shot too. I mean, it's really fun.
Yeah, going to be the foundation for sure for the next couple of years, and so a lot of fun to be able to watch and see what she can do. I mean, at 5'11", down on the post, but to be able to have the hands and control, especially the body control that she has, she is going to be a force.
We talked about Bova in the small schools being someone to watch, tremendous upside as a freshman. Amberger in the large schools, for me, is the player to watch as an underclassman. Watch her the next couple of seasons. She is going to be a force in this conference. And at 5'11" as the forward in the JCAA large schools, another person who would look great in red and navy.
I'm sensing a pretty consistent theme from you here tonight, Jeff.
Do you have CB Walker on speed dial?
I was going to say,
maybe.
He must have.
Sponsorship,
Maybe.
bonus,
Yeah,
something's going on.
at this point. I wasn't able to see her play at all, but being a sophomore and these numbers that she's posted and hearing all the amazing compliments that you guys have given her, seeing her for 2 more seasons is going to be pretty fun to see. I'm excited to see what she does.
Our final second teamer here, Sarah Weiberg from the Windsor Owls, the senior.
Sarah Weiberg, second team all-conference. She led the Owls in scoring. She led the Owls in rebounding. But she was also second on the team in assists and steals. And this is Sarah's second consecutive selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Sarah, as a senior, I didn't really get to see her this year, but over the last handful of seasons, I know for sure last year got to see her play. And she was one of those stabilizing forces on the court. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't one of these people, who'd taken, 37-foot three-pointers and others. But she was just always, she was working hard. She would take a smart shot. She would give, a very good pass. She was just a really solid player to watch.
Yeah, the fundamental comes to
Yes.
mind. Tim Duncan, that aspect, that just going to be in the right position, doing the right things, consistent with the shot. It's the same over and over again, and obviously see that it's paying off throughout the year. Disappointment that it's her senior year and we don't get to watch her at this level anymore, but, just what a way to go out in your senior year.
Yeah, it stood out to me, her consistency and her leadership this year especially. And just, if things were getting out of hand, if if somebody was making a run, she was the player that could kind of steady the course and calm things down, get things turned around the other way. And I know she's going to be sorely missed by Coach Schmidt there at Windsor.
Definitely someone you want on your team forever, it seems, right? Fantastic senior year by the young lady. Just not much else to add. Just fantastic numbers and a great senior year.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our final standouts here. First team, Ashley Hilton, Kara Matlock, Olivia Madden, Eliza Skaggs, and Lillian Kennedy. And our second team, Alyssa Rock, Mackenzie Missy, Ava Snudden, Abigail Amberger, and Sarah Weiberg. We will be back with the large school boys.
Hi, this is Bill Rubel with APB Storage. APB Storage is a locally owned and operated family business that offers the best storage solutions in the Jefferson County area. Our electronic gate gives you 24-hour access to your storage unit, and our state-of-the-art security system provides peace of mind and security. All of the units provide an easy access drive-up doors to allow a stress-free way to your unit. Come see why people prefer the APB storage experience. Give us a call at 636-464-5629 or visit us online at apbstorage.com.
Church is more than just an hour in a pew every Sunday. It's a community. It's where you can come as you are. It's a place where you can connect with God, learn from Scripture, and grow as you build relationships. It's a place where it's okay to be a work in progress. At Faith Community, you'll find an authentic group of people who are pursuing God and supporting one another along the way as we move from where we are to where God wants us to be. Wherever you're at on your journey, you are welcome here.
And we are back again with the large school boys MVPs, and they are as follows. We're going to start with the first team. The first teamer here is Leighton Hollis, the senior from the Windsor Owls.
No surprise, Leighton Hollis makes the list from Windsor. He was a first-team all-conference player. He was the JCAA Large School Conference Player of the Year. Among the metro area leaders in scoring, he led the Owls in scoring, shooting percentage. He led them in rebounds. He led them in assists. He led them in steals. Did a little everything there. Career 1,000-point scorer. This is Leighton's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout Team, and Leighton Hollis was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout Team.
Yeah, so for me, the big thought process there for Leighton, I mean, you said it, Jeff, in that kind of just talking about, his accolades throughout, just simply a doer of everything. I mean, he was just not only leading the way in scoring for the team, but a great year for Windsor overall, kind of took on that leadership role, really kind of elevated the play of a lot of other guys on his team as well. And so it was just fun to watch this young man play, a high-energy guy, good athlete across the board. And so be interested to hear what some of you guys have to say.
Well, what I have to say is a very, very versatile player. He can do a lot of different things on the floor, kind of a Swiss Army type guy. So many different roles in another guy that could rise to the occasion. What I failed to mention on there was helped, obviously, lead his team to a conference championship with Windsor this year, and probably has one of the best nicknames in the county with the Bottle Rocket.
That's very nice. I like that. Another nickname I would give him would be leader, because, you rattled it all off. Every single category, it felt like he was the leader, but also on the court, elevating his team, making his team better. I unfortunately wasn't able to witness any of his games live in person this season, but reaching 1,000 career points, being the leader for the team in all aspects is quite impressive. So a very fantastic way to go out in his high school career. Very good senior season.
And it was quite the luxury for Coach Gilbert to have him in the stable, because obviously Leighton Hollis, it just seemed like every year he just seemed to just kind of ratchet it up another notch, find another gear, and nothing seemed to, because sometimes you'll kind of focus on one thing and maybe something will kind of suffer. But with his game, he was just a great all-around player. And I think you kind of mentioned it, he was able to kind of elevate, the team around him, and he was kind of able to kind of make it more cohesive.
Absolutely. Our next standout is Drew Johnson, the senior from Hillsborough, or from Festus. I'm sorry.
Drew Johnson from Festus, first team all-conference player. He was among the metro area leaders in three-point shooting, among metro area leaders in assists. He led the Tigers in scoring and in three-point shooting. This is Drew's first selection to the team this year, and Drew was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Yeah, no surprise there. Again, a senior leadership poise on the court. He's got a great shot, just knows how to kind of create space to get that shot off as well. But you saw him again just kind of elevate some of the players around him. He has some underclassmen that are coming up, and I think he did a great job of not only just being a pivotal point of the offense, but found a way to help them grow this year and set this team up for success again next year.
You know, I want to say he was a prototypical one guard, but he really wasn't. You could put him into one or two. You know, his ability to shoot from the outside, truly a blessing for the Tigers. But also, you know, was able to drive and dish. I think anywhere in the backcourt, this guy was driving the bus for the Tigers.
Yeah, another great leader for Festus, like Brian, like you said, being able to pass off that experience and knowledge to the underclassmen moving into future seasons. He also shot 72.5 or 72.6% from the free throw line, so being able to make those free throws, whether it be, you know, to start the game, set the tone, or at the end of the game when it comes down to crunch time, just a very solid player and very exciting to watch.
Drew Johnson, what's the coach's last name, Jeff?
I think we've had a Johnson around in local hardwood ranks.
But obviously, whenever you're kind of like under the coach as kind of like more than just a coach, sometimes there's a little extra pressure. But this kid, I mean, he was a scorer. He was a good scorer too, and I mean, there was nights where he wasn't, he maybe didn't have his best game, as far as like feeling it, but he always found ways to contribute. And like I said, he was just a great scorer, and he just elevated his game over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. Taking a look at our next first teamer here, Greg Robinson, the senior from Hillsborough.
Mr. Robinson, as we like to call him, first team all-conference. He was among the metro area leaders in scoring with 18.2 a game, fifth in the entire metro area and Jefferson County leader in rebounds with 13.4 boards per game. So right there, telling you he's getting a double-double every night, guys. Number one in metro area and Jefferson County leader in block shots. He also led the Hawks in all of those categories as well. This is Greg's second selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team, and Greg was a unanimous choice for our first team standouts.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, walking double-double. I mean, when you can do that at any level, it doesn't matter what level you play at, it just speaks to your versatility. And then you put on the top just the ability to block shots. Again, tremendous wingspan, and no doubt this young man's going to be playing at the next level. What I want to see from him is just kind of that continued poise, that continued dominance. At the high school level, he stands a little bit taller than most, not all, but most. And so I think at times it came a little easy to him, but he really does put the work in, and if he wants to continue, man, he could really take his career a good ways.
And to follow up on that, and I'm so glad you brought those points up, he's got the frame and he's got the footwork to build upon to the next level. And there's definitely, when you look at him, he's like, okay, he can play at the next level, but here's some things to really build upon to make him a solid player at the collegiate level. At times he was dominant this year, but yes, at times it looked easy, and it probably did come easy to him, and that's not going to happen at college level at all. Another player that would look good in red and navy, guys.
It definitely wouldn't bother me at all. He is very fun to watch. I think we need to get the local Starbucks to rename their double cream, double sugar to the Robinson, just the walking double-double there. A fun little story for me personally this season. We got to see Hillsborough travel to Festus to play them in a huge conference game. And I can't remember at what point in the game, but the Hawks were able to turn the ball over, and Robinson was just right underneath the attacking basket. So he got the ball, and he was able to elevate and slam the ball down. And all of the Hillsborough fans that had traveled just absolutely erupted. So not only does that attest to how great of a basketball player he has been for Hillsborough, but also just how liked and how appreciated he is by his teammates and fans there at Hillsborough.
Absolutely. Moving on to our next standout, Cooper McGrath, the junior from Hillsborough.
Cooper McGrath, the junior, the all-conference honorable mention among the metro area leaders in steals, also led the Hawks in steals and assists, and this is Cooper's first selection to the Main Street Sports standout team.
Yeah, for me, it's just spark plug right here. I mean, a high-energy guy that really doesn't necessarily show up on all the stat sheets. It's one that I think his defensive prowess, again, his ability to help his teammates and find his teammates is where he really shines. I think for this young man, his senior year coming in, he's really got an opportunity just to kind of build on some of that legacy he has put in right there. And again, he's not necessarily going to be the one that just lights up the scoring side of things, but he does everything you want as a coach on the floor, and that's why I am excited to have him on this list.
And to add what Cap says here, just one thing I've noticed: really quick hands, both on defense and on offense. And one of the guys that can really tie things up real quick, or make a quick pass, or receive a quick pass.
Scotty, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
Oh, do I get to go this time? So since I didn't get to talk about Greg Robinson, we will talk about Cooper McGrath.
Scotty, I'm so sorry. I just realized I cut you out there.
He had
Sorry
a whole
about that.
page
My
worth
bad.
of stuff to talk
He's
about.
like, sorry,
I'm
not sorry.
Sorry.
But to bring the focus back to McGrath, he's kind of one of those kind of silent assassin kind of guys where it's like you may not, look for him up and down the score sheet, but he's out there doing all the right things. He's doing all the stuff that's maybe not going to show up. But, at the end of the night, you kind of look up and be like, hey, he did get X amount of rebounds. He did score so many points. And, he did contribute to the bottom line. So, I mean, obviously, as a coach, that's what you're looking for.
Sorry, we can't talk about Robinson now, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and give us your Robinson take.
I was going to say last year was kind of a revelation for Mr. Robinson, at least for me. And then sometimes when you have that kind of breakout, kind of elevated season, sometimes the next, kind of comes along and maybe you kind of like settle back a little bit, or maybe you kind of get like, lose a little bit of traction. But obviously this young man kind of took it to the next level, if you will. And he was, he took the challenge, and he obviously, I think in my expectation, raised the bar and exceeded it.
Absolutely. Our final first-teamer is Gunnar Sutton, the senior from Hillsborough.
Gunnar Sutton, McGrath's backcourt mate, first-team all-conference selection. He led the Hawks in three-point shooting, 35.7%. He led the Hawks in three-point scoring, and this is Gunnar's first selection to the Main Street Sports standout team.
Yeah, welcome, Gunnar, and well-deserved. This was a young man, maybe it's a little bit of a benefit of having someone like Robinson down low, but teams would fall asleep on him, and he really capitalized. Like, he made it hurt, has a good ability to drive and finish around the rim. I think that's an area that, hopefully he can kind of continue to grow in if this is something that he wants to do. Again, I know baseball is also in his future. He's a great standout there as well. And so for him, it's just, again, it's that athletic mentality that we've talked about earlier. He just knows how to find himself in the right spots on the floor. And then I think maybe not the greatest basketball skill, but has a way to figure it out and put the ball in the basket. Again, a great shooter and all-around player.
And no lack of confidence on his part. And that's, you're great athletes. He's a great athlete. Athletes are just athletes sometimes. And Gunnar certainly lived up to his name. He was a gunner.
Right.
Or maybe more like a mad bomber. He was not afraid to put it up from behind the arc in big situations for the Hawks.
Yeah, when you've got your quote-unquote star guys every night, maybe they're having a little bit of an off night. They're not exactly on their A game, and you need someone to step up. I mean, you look no further than Gunnar. Just over 13 points a game, shooting 70% from the line, getting 2 steals on average per game, too. Like, he's all over the place and very much a gunner, like you said, Jeff.
What a great name for a three-point sniper. Gunner. I mean, that's kind of almost like, Top Gun. That's almost like a Maverick kind of deal. I mean, but obviously, this young man, he put in some time in the gym, and it obviously showed and, gave benefit and, dividends for the Hawks. And, what can I say, excellent season.
Absolutely. And that's a look at our first team. Let's take a look at our second team here of the large school boys. We start with Aiden Mitchell, the senior from DeSoto.
Aiden Mitchell, as you look at the picture there, he's got something stuck on his finger. I'm not sure what that is. First team all-conference. He led the Dragons in scoring. He also led the Dragons at free throw percentage, and this is Aiden's second selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Yeah, versatile player here, and so no surprise to find him on this list. In some, he might have jumped up a list or two, but really, again, we've talked about it all night. I'll say it again. It's quality individuals on both of these lists, and no different with Mitchell here. I mean, what he was able to do for the Dragons there every night, a lot of effort, at least the games I was at, constantly involved in loose balls on the floor, leading by example, and it paid off, obviously, as he was able to score, find open teammates, a little bit of a well-rounded player there.
Exactly, and that's what I had. Solid all-around player, easily alternated between 1 and 2 positions, a heads-up defender, and just a guy who could know the game inside and out. And the guy that you were, got that consistent effort every single game.
I'm surprised I haven't done this yet tonight, considering the hat that I'm wearing, but I'd compare him almost like to a Braden Shen almost for the Blues. I mean, he's the captain of the team. He knows how to rally the troops. When you need him to score points, he's going to do it. When you need him to help dish the ball and let his teammates kind of elevate themselves in a night, he's going to do it. But also when he needs to throw the body, whenever he needs to get down and do the dirty work, the last thing he is scared or timid to do so. He's just going to do whatever it takes to help his team win night in and night out.
And kind of to step on the shoulders here of Drake, I think he's very much that kind of that glue guy. He's pretty much that everybody, kind of looks to, turns to, and he kind of holds everything together. And the couple of games I got to see him play, he kind of was actually kind of able to score in some spurts. So it's like, he'd have a good possession and then maybe he'd get a transition bucket. And, he definitely a max effort kind of guy.
Yes, sir. Our next second teamer, Aiden Clifton, the junior from Festus.
Aiden Clifton, before we talk about Aiden, let's talk about that photo. And once again, Cap had the benefit of having a chair that was sitting up a little higher than the 6'2" Aiden Clifton. So we just wanted to mention that there. But the second team all conference, he led the Tigers in rebounds. He was second in the Tigers in scoring. And this is Aiden's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Well, and you can kind of even see from that picture right there, just relaxed. And it showed on the basketball court. I mean, I think, for him, he's a football player as well. And you see that on the basketball court. Like, he physically dominates at times, and he can take over. And that game at Northwest, it was one of those where they started off slow. And I think it was his ability to get extra opportunities for that Festus team that really launched them in the second quarter and propelled them on, and quickly kind of for me just became one of my favorite players to watch. Like, I found myself at times almost missing the ball because I was watching what the work he was doing even without the ball.
Yeah, something about the personality there, and I think you must have maybe peeked at my notes, because that's exactly what I had. He was a true power forward who wasn't afraid at all of the contact or mixing it up in the lane. 6'2", led the team in rebounds, even though there were taller guys. And so much of it is because he played the game. He's another guy with the football player mentality playing basketball. And maybe that's why I enjoyed watching him so much.
Yeah, he's definitely got that football mentality, the physical presence that he brings to the team night in and night out. Him only being a junior, too, we get one more season of improvement from him. Who knows, maybe he grows a couple more inches, too. He's just going to be able to rebound a little bit easier. Maybe throws a couple more pounds on in the gym. Who knows? But like I said, one more year of him, and it's going to be very exciting to see.
This is another one of these kids that makes me feel old because I know his dad. I played softball with his dad. But, did get to see him play a little bit on the football side. I kind of felt like he was underutilized on the football field, and I don't know if maybe that translated into basketball, where he kind of took that, that under usage, and he kind of brought that aggression to the basketball court. Like, I'm going to force myself onto the game because there is only 5 of us on the court at the time, where, obviously football's a little more spread out. But he, like you said, the physicality for him, and the moment never seemed too big for him. It was like always like he was always like, if you want to lean on me, let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's take a look at another second teamer here, Nate Womack, the sophomore from Festus.
Another super sophomore, guys, this time in the large school JCAA, second team all-conference, among the metro area leaders in block shots, and led the Tigers in block shots. He was second in the Tigers in rebounding behind Mr. Clifton, and this is Nate's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Sophomore here. Just keep that in mind, guys. But, like, his ability, what impressed me on the offensive side was his ability to finish around the rim. He is tremendous at that. He didn't get a lot of opportunities to do so, but in that, I mean, he finished well. You talk about his defensive prowess. It's like he just knows when the opponent's going to take the shot, and he knows how to elevate without getting the contact to draw the foul. Like, that was the one thing that impressed me out of a sophomore is he would challenge shots, but he knows how to control his body so he's not taking out the offensive player in the process. And so it's going to be fun to watch him, and I think Festus is going to be a tremendous benefit from his presence down in the paint.
Well, I've had the pleasure of knowing this family for quite a long time, and he played at 6'5" as a sophomore this year, and I don't think Nate is the biggest person in his family, although I did know him when he was less than 3 feet tall. But tremendous upside for this young man. I don't think he's done growing yet, believe it or not, guys. And there are more Womacks coming up, so we're going to look forward to seeing that family name and a couple of these guys on the team. He's got a younger brother, I believe, is in 8th grade that'll be probably joining the freshman squad next year. So another very tall force in the middle for the Tigers.
You think he was like 4 years old whenever he got taller than 3 feet?
Maybe
Probably.
so.
That'd be my guess. Between him and Clifton, with getting one more year of both of them, I can only imagine Festus is going to be one of the better defensive teams next year with the size and the defensive IQ like you were talking about, Brian, just knowing how to control his body playing defense without having to draw too much contact and create too many fouls. Very intrigued and very excited to watch him play next season.
Think about the different dynamics, of a scorer, a stealing, personality on the court. That shot blocker, that changes everything. I mean, that gets the whole team involved. I mean, think of the different, fast break opportunities and things that this, creates. And only a sophomore, and as he kind of understands a little bit more of the nuances of the game, I mean, this is quite a weapon for them to deploy.
Absolutely. Moving on to another second teamer here, Owen Hagley, the junior from the Windsor Owls.
Owen Hagley, second team all-conference player. He was all metro area, among them all metro area leaders, in free throw percentage, 82% from the charity stripe, guys. He led the Owls in three-point shooting with 40% from the arc. Second on the Owls in scoring with almost 13 points per game, and this is Owen's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Yeah, I just want to say kind of Captain Clutch here. I mean, that just, to me, when they needed a big shot, the ball would find his hands, and it seemed like at least every time I was there or present, he just knocked it down and then had that big smile that you saw right there on the photo as he's coming back down the court. Like, hey, it kind of reminds me, again, not at this level, but like just how Curry plays the game. Very loose, very fun, but when it matters, he's going to lock in and he's going to make the play happen.
You alluded to this a little earlier. Owen is also the type of guy that you referred to Gunner about. He's the sneaky bomber. He's the guy who's going to quietly set up in the corner that you fail to account for on defense, and then all of a sudden he hits a three and drives a dagger right through the heart of your team. I've seen it time and again from Owen Hagel, and obviously he was solid from the arc or the foul line.
We've mentioned it a couple of times here with a lot of 1-2 punches because there have been a few people from the same school on these lists, and this is no different. I mean, Hagley's the perfect number 2 to Leighton Hollis. I mean, Hollis is going almost 20 a night, but Hagley's getting almost 13 a night, and it's like you said, whenever you need a clutch shot, everyone's probably looking at the quote-unquote main guy in Hollis. Well, you still got just as a formidable opponent in Hagley here. Being able to make shots when it matters and being able to come up in the clutch like that. And again, he's a junior, so we get one more season of him. Very excited to see his senior season.
And to kind of carry the theme here, clutch. I mean, how how nice is it to have someone who shoots free throws like he does? So
Right.
where if Hollis is not an option, and you're in the last couple minutes of the game, and that they're going to go to the hack-a-shack, you put the ball in his hands and you dare the other team to foul you.
Absolutely. Our final second teamer for the boys, Xander Smith, the junior from the Windsor Owls.
Certainly, last but not least, Xander Smith from the Owls, an all-conference honorable mention player, among the metro area leaders in block shots with almost a 1.5 a game. He led the Owls in block shots. He led the Owls in free throw percentage. Second on the Owls in rebounds, second on the Owls in assists, and this is Xander's first selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Yeah, and Xander Smith, again, another junior that we're going to be privileged to see one more year of, kind of that third player in that pairing for Windsor in the tremendous season that they had this year, especially in the league, kind of running the table there for them. He was just that stabilizing force. Again, didn't have to have the ball in his hands to impact the game. He was able to collect rebounds and find the open guy. Like, he wasn't a selfish player by any stretch. He had the awareness, and he knew that he wasn't the best person in that moment to put the ball in the basket, and he was completely fine to defer. And that, I think, sometimes can get undersold on a team, because you need a guy like that to have success like the Owls had this year.
Exactly, and it's interesting, as good as he was in the paint with rebounds and block shots, that ability to dish the ball and find the open man, that's kind of a unique juxtaposition there of offense and defense for a high school player. Guys, a lot of rebounders and shot blockers made the cut this year, and Xander was obviously among them, and that speaks a lot to the quality of some of the choices and the votes here, that we really looked at guys that weren't just the scorers with the gaudy numbers. We really looked at guys, how they were moved and how they played away from the ball, how they played defense, how they rebounded, and I'm really proud of our voters for that reason.
We'll give the voters a pat on the back for sure. One thing that I absolutely love, I'm going to go back to my numbers here, Scott. Between him and between Smith and Hagley with the free throw percentage, they both absolutely killed it from the line. 82.1 for Hagley, 82.4 for Smith. So we talk about competitiveness on the court. You're also going to be just as much, if not more, competitive with your teammates. So definitely something to hang over his head for next season. Maybe they'll be counting their free throws and seeing who has a better percentage next season.
All right, can we move some of these beans off the counter here? So, we kind of did talk about, all of the qualities this young man has. And, I think there's an intelligence there, too. I mean, obviously athletic ability plays at this level, but you also have to be able to understand the play. You kind of study the shots, and you got to put yourself in the right position to be in, a spot to get a rebound, to make a good pass.
Right.
And I think this young man definitely embodies all that.
Absolutely, guys, and that wraps things up here for the large school boys. Time to take a look at a special segment here. We're going to call this the shout-out segment here, and we're going to turn it over here to Jeff. He's got the shout-out.
Guys, what we wanted to do this year, there's a couple players here in the county that would be live amongst a lot of the JCAA players that are not large schools. They would have been JCAA players in the past. And we do, even though we didn't get to see them play, I got to see them play a little bit, but even though you guys didn't get to see them play, I do want to give them a shout out, even though they're in the conference, not in the conference anymore. They are doing some really tremendous things on the court. So we wanted to kind of do a special shout out. We start off with St. Pius Junior Brooke Blankenship. Brooke still maintained now as a junior. She's among the metro area leaders in rebounds, among the metro area leaders in block shots. She led the answers in scoring with almost 14 points a game and achieved that 1,000-point scoring milestone as a junior. So I fully expect to see Brooke playing at the next level somewhere, guys. The next one is a freshman on the list here, Harrison Ray. The freshman was a bright spot in a really difficult season for the Lancers. He led the team in scoring with almost 11 points per game and also with outside shooting as well. in free throw percentage. He was the shooter for sure. He also led the team in steals and was second in assists. So did everything he could from the guard position. So keep his name on your watch list, folks. Even though they're not in the JCAA, keep your eyes and ears peeled for Mr. Harrison Ray.
Absolutely, and that is a look at the shout-outs here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment many of you, if not all, have been waiting for. It's time for us to announce our Main Street Sports Show JCAA's Standouts of the Year. And starting out, we'll go ladies first in the small schools MVP. We have from the Grandview Eagles senior, Catherine Wakeland.
Hey, MVP, 1,000 points, for Grandview. Well done.
Next up on our list, we have our small school boys MVP, and from the Crystal City Hornets, the baseball player, the senior, Nolan Eisenbeis.
It's a Crystal City thing, I guess, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic season, a tremendous athlete, a great leader for this basketball team. Very excited to see the upcoming baseball season, his senior year and forward in the red and navy. But well done to Nolan, an absolute great player in person, and very excited to see what you got in your future.
Now we move up to the large schools, and starting with the girls, our MVP, large school girls from Hillsboro, the junior, Ashley Hilton. Ashley Hilton, what can we say about her? Just the consummate athlete. Basketball, softball, whatever, doesn't matter. She's going to excel at it. She's got the brains. She has the athletic ability, and a very well-deserved. And I might mention that Nolan Eisenbeis and Ashley Hilton were both unanimous selections from our voters. Finally, last but not least, our large school boys MVP comes to us from Hillsboro, Missouri. That's the senior, Greg Robinson.
Yeah, Mr. Double-Double. Congratulations, Greg Robinson. I mean, well-earned, well-deserved. You talk about MVP, most valuable player, especially to their team. It would be hard to imagine what Hillsboro would look like minus him. They had a lot of great team efforts, but he is the catalyst for that team. So well-deserved, and congratulations, my friend.
Well, those are our MVP choices. So the question now is, how do we do overall? This is our selections compared to the coaches voting for all conference. We voted for our standouts a couple weeks prior to the release of the all conference lists. Our selections were about 90% similar to the coaches' votes overall, so not bad. There were some surprises here and there, some selections, but this is how things broke down in 2025. There were 9 unanimous selections to the Main Street Sports Standout Team. That's down from 17 last year, so a lot more tougher competition this year to vote for. Breakdown by classes, 1 freshman was selected, 5 sophomores, 20 juniors on the list, and 14 seniors selected. Now, that as opposed to last year, 2024, we had 1 freshman, 7 sophomores, 10 juniors, and 22 seniors. So you see the little swing there as we had a lot of seniors graduate, and the junior class very, very strong this season. And the best part is we get to see them play more next year, guys. So my final thoughts, what a tremendous basketball season. I think this has been our most successful season ever, Ray, as far as covering games, as far as broadcasting, live stream, and certainly with the best crew we've ever had.
Agreed, and we can only just continue to go farther down the road and maybe add more games, and that comes with the growth process. So we're excited about it, and we appreciate everybody that's come out to the games, but also watch the games here. And shameless plug here, don't forget to check out the website, livestreamstl.tv, and our Roku TV app. You can be able to actually go back. Every single game that we've covered is on the website and the Roku channel. You can actually go up into the search bar and type in your team, and all those particular games will show up. So our shameless plug there. But we appreciate everybody being here to check out the show today for the Main Street Sports Standouts. And guys, thanks again for being a part and giving your input. We appreciate that. And It's been a long night already here, but we're having fun with it. We turned our pages to baseball and softball here, already kicking off here with the spring. But if you're interested in helping us with sponsorship and to continue to do this, we've had a lot of folks ask at the end of the season here, how can we get involved? Don't forget to give us a call here, 314-852-4398. If you see us around, say, hey, we'd love to have you, to interact with the community as well. So for Ray Halbrook, for Brian Kaplinger, for Scott Lotta, for Drake Beekman and Jeff Whitener, all of us here at Livestream STL, guys, wave to the camera. We're going to say so long. Thanks again for watching the Main Street Sports Standout Show.